So today I am off from rehearsal. We have tonight off, and that means it is time to learn some of these words. I've learned a couple speeches, a couple scenes so far, but we're about to be getting on our feet, and I like to know the words as soon as possible. That's kind of one of the most asked questions of actors is how do you memorize all those lines? I have a standard answer that I usually use, what I tell people is that's what rehearsal is for. So if you and I had the same 2-hour conversation every day for about 5 weeks, you'd probably start to remember most of those words. So that's kind of what rehearsal is just having the same exact conversation over and over and over again. Do we learn everything word for word? Yes, that is what we strive for, is to be word perfect as much as possible. We consider that a way to honor the playwright and the work that they have done in choosing very specific phrasing and vocabulary and rhythms for the way their characters speak. So getting the words right is part of our job. So we do work to be word perfect if at all possible. I was teaching today in my classes in high school with Christoph, our director, who's also a former student of mine, and we were talking about kind of an interesting difference between his work life in Berlin as a director and here in the United States. There's a job called a prompter, which we don't really employ very much of in the U.S. In the U.S., in most theatrical situations, there is an expectation that you know your lines, like every word, all the time. And if you don't know your lines or you forget your lines, then you have to be ready to kind of talk yourself out of the situation, hopefully get to some things that you do know, or maybe another actor helps you out and kind of helps you get out of a sticky situation so you can get onto the next thing, but kind of out there by yourself. And we consider it very shameful and like, oh, it's a horrible problem if you've not memorized your lines. However, it's much more accepted in European theater to use a prompter, which means someone sits with a script. They're in the front row or just off to the side, and should an actor miss a line, they can get assistance from the prompter, kind of just give you the line. We don't do that a lot here, and it's not really frowned upon. It's just sort of expected and part of the theater experience. Now, some of that comes from the fact that at many theaters, and more theaters, European theaters, I think, than U.S. theaters, you'll see shows running in rep, meaning you might have the theater might have one show on tonight, another show on tomorrow night, and a different show on the next night. So a company of actors might know 5 to 10 plays in their head at one time. So switching shows a lot can be tough to manage without prompting. So it's just kind of an interesting tidbit about how theater works in the U.S. and line learning works here in the U.S. versus other countries, other parts of the world. So that's my little spiel about learning lines. And now I have procrastinated 4 minutes and 13 seconds on learning lines, so gotta go.